Shavua Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Orlah. We're up to Perek Bet Mishnah Hey. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'il Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana Aranbayev, and Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Menuchatam ben Gan Eden, Amen. This Mishnah continues a discussion about Tumah that we began at the end of the last Mishnah. Dostai Ish Kvar Yatma Haya Mitalmidei Bet Shammai. Dostai, the chief of Kfar Yatma, was among the students of Bet Shammai. Va'amar, and he said, Shamati mishamai hazaken sha'amar, I heard from Shammai the elder who said, Le'ulam eno mitameh ad shebo kabetza, a leaven or spice can never make other food tameh unless it is the size of an egg. Meaning, Dostai testifies here that Shammai himself, the teacher of Bet Shammai, agreed with the opinion of Bet Hillel in the previous Mishnah that tameh, leaven and spices are no different from other tameh foods. They do not make other foods tameh unless they are at least the size of an egg. Now, Mefarshim point out, it seems that the other students of Shammai, meaning Bet Shammai, that they argued with Bet Hillel because they had not paid close enough attention to Shammai and were therefore not aware of his opinion on the matter. So the Mishnah is telling us now that Dostai, the chief of Kfar Yatma, testified that Shammai Hazaken, the teacher of Bet Shammai, agreed to the opinion of Bet Hillel that you always need a kabetza. Makes no difference whether it's a tameh leaven or spice or any other tameh food. And that is in the Rabotai of Mishnah Hey. Mishnah Vav now continues what we learned in Mishnah Daled, that leaven and spices of terumah do not become nullified even in a mixture containing 100 times more chulin. So the Mishnah now qualifies that ruling. Because the Mefarshim give us a background, the ruling of Mishnah 4 was taken from an older tradition of the sages, which said, any tirumah that leavens or spices or creates a medumah mixture is to be treated strictly, and to be treated strictly in some cases and strictly and leniently in other cases. The Mishnah is going to explain the meaning of this older rule. This is how the Rav explains it. Ulema amru kol amchametz amtabel v'amdameh la'achmir. In regards to what did the sages say? Any tirumah that leavens dough, that is chulin, or that spices a dish that is chulin, or that creates a medumah mixture of tirumah and chulin without any leavening or spicing taking place. When did they say that's always to be treated strictly? And the Mefarshim explained basically what we're saying is ordinary tirumah that fell into chulin and was cooked with it. Right? When did we say we always treat it strictly? Min bimino. They said this in regards to tirumah of one kind of produce that mixed with chulin of the same kind, meaning literally of its own kind. La'akil lachmir, and in regards to what did they say, the mixture is to be treated sometimes leniently and sometimes strictly. Min b'shenomino, they said that in regards to tirumah of one kind of produce that mixed with chulin of another kind of produce, literally not of its own kind. Ketzad, how so? In what way is a mixture of tirumah and chulin of the same kind of produce always treated strictly in the case of leaven? For example, if sourdough made from terumah wheat fell into a regular dough made of chulin wheat, again, this mixture is considered min bimino, a kind of the same, even though the taste of sourdough is somewhat different from the taste of regular dough because it's dough. And there is enough sourdough to leaven the chulin dough. Ben sheyesh bo la'alot bechadumea, whether there is enough chulin to nullify tirumah in a mixture of 101 parts, meaning 100 parts chulin to 1 part of tirumah, which is the usual amount you need to nullify tirumah. Uben she'en bo la'alot bechadumea, whether there is not enough chulin dough to nullify tirumah in a mixture of 101 parts, meaning there's less than 100 parts of chulin to 1 part of tirumah. Asur, the dough is forbidden to non-kohanim, because where the tirumah leavens the chulin, no amount of chulin can nullify it because the tirumah's effect is visible. And on the other hand, if there is not enough chulin to nullify the tirumah sourdough in a mixture of 101 parts, ben sheyesh bo kedei lechametz, ben she'en bo kedei lechametz, then whether there is enough tirumah sourdough to leaven the chulin dough, or whether there is not enough to leaven it, asur, the chulin dough is forbidden to non-kohanim, because since there are less than 100 parts of chulin to the 1 part of tirumah sourdough, it makes no difference whether the tirumah leavens it or not, because tirumah never becomes nullified in a mixture with the same kind unless there are 100 parts of chulin to 1 part of tirumah. Now again, this is following the arts elucidated. They learned the Rav is explained by the Pri Chadash, cited in the Tosefet and Sheshem. Now, in short, just to conclude this Mishnah. When teruma sourdough falls into ordinary dough of the same kind, min bimino, we always treat it according to the stricter of its two qualities. If it can leaven the dough, we treat it with the rule for things that leaven and it can never becomes nullified. If it cannot leaven the dough, we treat it with the rule for teruma and it cannot become nullified unless there are 100 parts more chulin. This is what the Chachamim meant when they said any teruma that leavens is always to be treated strictly. Now the ruling the Mishnah is explaining also referred to teruma spices and meduma, which is teruma and chulin that became mixed together and were cooked together. The rule for them is like this. This is what the Mefarshim explain. If they fell into chulin of the same kind, we always treat them strictly. If they can give flavor to more than 100 parts of chulin, had been of a different kind, we judge them by the flavor and we forbid, the food is forbidden to non-kohanim. If they cannot give flavor, we judge them as teruma and they do not become nullified by less than 100. So again, like we said, if the teruma sourdough falls into ordinary dough of the same kind, if it can live in the dough, it's always never going to be nullified. It's always going to be a sur. If it cannot live in the dough, so it cannot be nullified unless there are 100 parts more chulin. And that is the Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Everybody should have a Shavua Tov. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.